in my nerd world, addiction was forever was considered a moral failure.
Okay,
it's just because you're weak.
Yeah.
And then I got my own opinions why they shifted it to it's a disease.
Yeah.
And now there's a growing conversation, like a consensus behind closed doors, if you will. There's a few people saying out loud that addiction's actually probably your body working pretty good. It is doing what works to get through either some trauma or some chaos or a pretty messy situation.
Where have you heard that?
I
heard that in the closed
in behind closed doors
rehab circle, like at rehab.
That's nerds.
I didn't know
talking to
that
nerds.
was out.
It's
yet.
nerds talking to nerds.
Yeah. It's like maybe it's a little like I remember there was a girl in rehab that was like I'm going to say in high school, like just molested by somebody that lived with her.
Yeah,
and she discovered alcohol, and alcohol
worked,
saved her life.
That's right,
and that's to hear that. Is anyone listening to this, you hear that, you go, that's hard. You never even had heard a thought like that. That's why I go, where did you hear that?
No,
because I've heard that in the very closed doors of treatment centers.
No,
I didn't know that was like.
I've told college parents for students, like, what, my kid's doing drugs, like, because it works. Cocaine works.
Now it'll
kill you.
Yes,
but it works.
It is the only. So if you go, and I've been here before, you go, I thought, not true, but I cannot, after the glory or height of this comedy show, everybody, signing autographs, everything, this is unbelievable. I cannot survive the night in this hotel room. I felt like closing that hotel door was like a prison cell.
Yes.
Without my cell phone or in some kind of relationship, flirty type situation or alcohol, I will not survive.
Correct.
Now, that's not true.
Right. But your chest tightens up.
Thought,
it closes in. Yeah,
I thought.
Absolutely.
And so these mechanisms prevented me from jumping out the window.
That's right. Yeah,
and now the demons were just screaming so loudly.
That's right.
That those... Now, a therapist would obviously say long term, this is obviously going to have a lot of, but it's not, it is... You see somebody out on Broadway drinking, drunk, or whatever, that you want to judge them, or you go, whatever his present situation is, everybody has a set of tools to cope with them.
Yeah.
And this is the card he knows how to play.
That's right.
Getting drunk. And long term it's going to has consequences, but this is the only one that might be keeping him on the planet. Now you got to give him another card. Right. I'm going to be, by the time this comes out, I'll be sober 4 years.
Dude, congrats.
Thank you, man. I found another card that kind of trumps that card. You can't just take that card away.
This is a great thing. You don't take away somebody who just had surgery, don't take away their crutches without giving them something else
or their
to
pain
walk
medication.
With. That's right.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
Now long term. Yeah, you go. Now we get it. Now somebody goes, hey, I've been sober for 3 weeks, then I went back, and then I've been sober for a month, and I relapsed. Or I was like, yeah, that's somebody learning. Getting off crutches
somebody
is,
learning.
dude.
That's right.
Yeah. Why are we crushing the guy?
Yeah.
That
was a big shift. It was about a decade ago when I used to ask college students, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And the question switched to what happened?
Yeah.
In your world that this is the best way your body's figured out how to get through a day.
Yeah.
That changes the question. Because that's one's super compassionate, empathetic, let's figure this out. And one is when you get your crap together, then you can come back in the house.
And was that
it was over everything.
Yeah. But then you were raised the same as I was. They meant well. Your parents meant well.
Of course
and
they
so did
did.
mine. And I don't like a lot of the deconstruction, and I like to stop it.
Everybody's doing. They had only their tools.
Right. They had their tools, and
Right.
if you go back to them, I'll go, who are you mad at? Because you go back to your youth pastor, he would be embarrassed too.
Of course,
he would be like, "Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I did the best I could with what I had."
Yes.
Yeah.
So you go, I don't know. Do actions have consequences? Sure.
Of course.
Nobody's saying that it doesn't. When I was in rehab, that there was no. You couldn't do nothing out there. Obviously, everything was taken away from. And then I remember, and I didn't even have any knowledge of this prior to going in, but I was like, alcohol, and then everything was taken away. And I go, I don't know. I don't think I have any addictions. I'm fine with. I'm not, itching or. I go, I don't know. I'm pretty good. And then I remember, it was family week, and everybody's kind of family, people's wives would come to visit them, and this other guy in treatment center, his wife came, and then. we were in the cafeteria. I don't know where she walked by and goes, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I'm a big fan. And it, like...
Oh, dude. Yeah, it was.
I was like, oh, this is my addiction. She goes, hey, I just want to let you know, like, your stuff is so hilarious. And I go, oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
Or whatever
okay,
and it was like,
yeah.
oh, that's what if I ever talk about it, is like, I'm fighting that.
Gotcha.
Once you get some privileges, you can go out and like you can go to dinner with amongst supervision, or you can go in rehab and you can get your phone back and you can get your car, and then it loosens up as you prove yourself to be trustworthy. And I remember one time the guys go, we're just going to order in food tonight. We're not, and I was so pumped. This is the beginning of my recovery. He's like, oh, because when I went out,
people said, hey,
John, what up? Good to see you. And I was like, shh.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I fight then and currently.
Okay, so that's similar to, like, if you have a cocaine addiction.
Yeah.
You can construct a life where you're just not there. You're not around it.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you struggle with disordered eating,
Yeah.
you have a different level of work because you have to make peace, because you can't do life without food.
Sex too.
Sex too. That's right. Intimacy, connection, all that. You have to make peace with it.
Yeah.
In a
You have to
different,
do it, like, are you drinking or not drinking? Doesn't matter.
Yes.
There's the firm,
yes,
and like, or workaholism or
That's-
narcissism.
yeah, that's
You're like,
right.
you have to work.
yeah,
And there's a lot of these, quote, addictions or struggles that, by the way, everybody's listening is probably like,
everybody.
okay, if you work in construction and you have a lunch break and you go buy 3 double cheeseburgers, crush them with a Coke, and go back to landscaping, nobody's gonna
Nope,
call you on that.
nope.
But if you're sad and maybe you got dumped and you go, I'm feeling bummed out, and you go down and you 3 cheeseburgers and crush them,
Right.
we're maybe having a different conversation.
Right.
So what is your workaholism, sex, eating, all these things that you have to do.
What is your body trying to? But when it becomes the way you pacify yourself,
And I could go
dealing with life.
I could go on a stand up. There's like a whole range of, like, people email me all the time and be like, I struggle with depression. Your comedy's lifted my spirits. I'm going through a medical. Somebody said, like, I'm in the operating room. When I get out of my chemo, I watch your videos.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh. And then there's this monster over here that wants attention and wants accolades and affirmation for my insecurities. And I could be all on this range.
Of course.
And you're like, do I love stand-up and do I love helping people? Yes.
Yes.
Also, does the same activity, can it be expressed as very negative, or like acting out of my insecurities or pain? Yes.
The only way I've seen it work, though, is I think for years we spent time trying to solve that continuum.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of healing from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Being,
And if
my body's not trying to hide from my own life, from me,
yeah.
then I can have
Yeah.
I can have a couple pieces of candy,
Sure,
and I
sure,
don't have
dude.
to mainline the bag.
I told my girlfriend, I go, hey, I need to go to the NASCAR awards just to make sure, like, just to, to introduce myself. She goes, BS. It's actually more beneficial as a comedian to be amongst the people. I need to be in the grandstands, not in the suite.
Yep.
And so she goes, if you want to go and get your ego stroked, I'll go with you. And then we went, we both agreed on that. We had a great time.
Yes.
Just say, they
Yes.
go, that's fine. Because
Yes.
you're human.
Yep.
Human, me too.
Yep.
Yeah. She goes, and I'd like to go rent a dress and get all my makeup done. I'd like to go. But don't say we're not doing what we're doing here.
So where does that shame come from? That secret, like, I got to hold that. I
Yeah.
got to create a narrative around this. And most of us do it,
Yeah.
I think, without even thinking about it. I got to stay a little bit
Everybody.
later. I got to stay
Yeah.
a little bit later at work, a
Yeah.
little bit later at work.
No,
Actually,
you don't.
you are uncomfortable being in the presence of your wife and your kids because you don't know what you're doing. And so
Yep.
your body feels safer at work.
And you're
You're pretty good at work.
a king here.
You're pretty good at work.
You're a king. You're pretty
That's
good
right.
here.
That's right. So,
Why would anyone be
It comes
for
down to that secret.
verbalizing that?
and then it comes down to that shame.
Your buddy sat down with you and told you exactly this.
Yes.
You go, yeah, dude.
Like, go to the thing and have the time of your life.
I get it. Or he's like, hey, I'm struggling to be present at home because at work, everybody needs me. Whenever I'm there, I am a king. And when I'm home, my wife's like, you need to take out the trash.
Exactly.
And you go, what? If you sat there and told me that, I would go, yeah, I get it. How would you respond with anything else but that?
Or they tell you when you have kids, everything's wonderful. And
Yeah,
they don't tell you,
yeah.
it's real boring.
Or it's just you're sitting in the track meet for 6 hours and they haven't even run.
And it's hot. And you watch some kid do high jump and everyone's clapping. And it's not that.
Yeah.
It comes down to that. What do I think is going to actually happen if I say this out loud? Am I going to lose everything?
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my identity.
Yeah.
And then you talk to people who are like, no, I lost it. I lost all.
Yeah. The only way forward is to give up. Was to make peace that it all is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember we would go to this, like, we would do equine therapy every Thursday.
Yeah.
You would go off campus, you'd get in this van and go off. And I'm not lying. And the food, the funny thing about rehab, anybody that's going to, like, Malibu and has massages, and that's not rehab. That's not rehab. This place, there's no women there. There's no drugs, alcohol, no cell phones, no screens, no movies, no caffeine, no sugar, no fiction books, no. Even if you like to get a runner's high for exercising, you could just walk. So anything that would allow you to
escape,
gone.
Yeah,
anything gone. And so it does reset your baseline. I was like, man, if I could go swing a golf club.
Be euphoric,
right?
right?
My goodness! Right. If I could go see my nephew, which as an addict or alcoholic, you don't want to have anything to do with. If I could go sit and watch a baseball game, a high school
T-ball game,
you'd be like, this is incredible,
right?
And we would drive past this McDonald's, and I would go, I would give anything to be in there.
Yeah.
To go sink my teeth into a double cheese. We talked about double cheeseburgers twice already. And the definition of addiction, by the way, is as simple as you can possibly put it: repeated attempts to quit despite mounting consequences. So if you have a drink and you're providing for your family, you're still present, that's not addiction. If you're getting a double cheeseburger, like we went up to the Kentucky to Keeneland the other day and we gambled on the horse race. I don't want to go back.
Right.
I don't want to secretly.
Sure.
I don't know.
Downloading whatever.
Yeah, and I lost $100.
Yeah.
Does that? I'm not saying I'm crushing it, but that isn't
right.
They go. Any therapist or anybody go, okay. And if you go, no more gambling, I go, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't grip me.
Right.